Alright, this video is sponsored by Chocophobia. This is a hoodie. There's also t-shirts. Chocophobia, the irrational fear of the chocolate supply running out. It is irrational, right? Right? So we do have shortages, but as long as we have chocolate, we'll be fine. So please support this channel by buying a shirt. Let's get into the briefing. Alright, Rebels, today's briefing is from the Gateway Pundit, and we're going to do several from the Gateway Pundit in a row. But today we start with new. State Department tells court it should reject Hillary Clinton's desperate appeal to avoid testimony. This is going to be rich. It's written by Christina Layla, published April 6 yesterday afternoon at 5 p.m. Wanted you to see this again. It's rich. Last month, a federal court ordered a deposition of Hillary Clinton on her emails and Benghazi attack records. No, Hillary, we haven't forgotten. Hillary Clinton hit back and filed an emergency appeal to stop her court-ordered email testimony. Crooked Hillary thinks she is too important to be required to comply with a court order to testify. Apparently, the State Department and its DOJ lawyers can't even defend Hillary Clinton this time around because they told an appeals court to reject Clinton's effort to avoid testimony via Judicial Watch. Judicial Watch announced today that it and the State Department, which is represented by Justice Department lawyers, filed responses opposing former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and her former Chief of Staff Cheryl Mills's writ of mandamus request to overturn a U.S. District Court order requiring their testimony under oath regarding Clinton's emails and Benghazi attack records. At the same time, the government argued that it did not engage in bad faith in failing to disclose the Clinton non-government email system to Judicial Watch and the court. The briefs were filed on April 3rd with the U.S. Appeals Court for the District of Columbia Circuit. Judicial Watch argues that Clinton and Mills, quote, must demonstrate that they have no other adequate means of relief, close quote, which they failed to show. Also, Clinton and Mills do not demonstrate, quote, that the district court's order was a judicial usurpation of power or a clear abuse of discretion, or that Clinton and Mills have a clear and indisputable right to a writ, close quote. Apparently those are the conditions required by a writ of mandamus. In fact, quote, the district court reasonably concluded that Clinton's previous explanations for using a personal email server are cursory, incomplete, and seemingly at odds with what discovery has yielded to date, close quote. Yeah, most of what Clinton says is at odds. Judicial Watch further argues that Clinton and Mills are trying to avoid their deposition testimony by relying on, quote, their status as former high-level government officials, close quote. Clinton and Mills, quote, do not offer a single case from this court or any other holding that former high-level government officials should not be required to follow regular appellate channels to challenge a discovery order, close quote. Particularly in Mills's case, Judicial Watch notes that they, quote, identify no case in which a court entertained a mandamus petition to stop the deposition of even a sitting cabinet member's chief of staff, close quote. In other words, they have no leg to stand on. In September, Judge Royce Lamberth granted Judicial Watch significant news discovery on the Hillary Clinton email and Benghazi scandals. Judicial Watch in September released transcripts from the hearing on August 22nd, where Judge Royce Lamberth granted new discovery and witnesses on Hillary Clinton's email case. Judge Lamberth, a Reagan appointee, blasted State Department lawyers defending Hillary Clinton who are working to cover up her email scandal. There is no FOIA exemption for political expedience, nor is there one for bureaucratic incompetence, Judge Lamberth said, warning the government lawyers. Judge Lamberth also lambasted the State Department lawyers when they tried to stop Judicial Watch from gathering more evidence in Hillary's case. Hillary Clinton's desperate appeal to avoid testimony is even too much for her defenders at the State and Justice Department, said Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton, and lambasted is one of his favorite words to use. A federal court rejected Clinton and the deep state's attempts to shut our email inquiry down and agreed with Judicial Watch that it is time to hear from Hillary Clinton. The appellate court should quickly reject Mrs. Clinton's gambit. And this is his tweet. State DOJ tells appeals court it should reject Clinton effort to avoid testimony. Hillary Clinton alleges she is too important as a former government official to be required to comply with the federal court order to testify on unanswered questions on her email misconduct. That's from his tweet. But Hillary Clinton alleges she's too important for any kind of correction. So, anyway, Rebels, that's your first briefing for today. Go forth and speak freely.